beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work and hope your health and strength is good. What? What's up, gamers? Got a nice little article here for you, okay? Says here, Chile approves Microsoft Activision merger. Listen to this. Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard is currently under global scrutiny due to the competition imbalance it might cause if this deal gets through. That is the viewpoint of Xbox competitors, organizations including Google, Sony, and the Federal Trade Commission. Look, you know what? I'll address that in a minute. It says here the FTC recently filed a court case against Microsoft to block the Microsoft Activision merger, but Microsoft believed that the FTC approach to this deal is unconstitutional. Until now, the $68.7 billion deal was approved by regulatory bodies of the Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Serbia. Chile has also joined a list of countries that have approved this merger. It says today, Chilean Competition Authority (FNE) has unconditionally approved Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard in Phase 1. The following is a statement released by FNE based on which they have authorized this deal. It says the company these companies carry out activities in the same segment: development, publication, and distribution of video games, and no different levels with Microsoft producing Xbox console and other video game platforms, such as Game Pass, whereby their activities overlap both horizontal and vertical. The prosecutor office considered the operation was not suitable to sustainable reduced competition, considering among the other evident patterns and preference of video game consumers in Chile. Says here in October it was confirmed that Chile is also among the countries investigating this deal. Their initial statement was that they have no problem with the transaction, like Brazil, which was among the first countries to approve this deal. Undoubtedly, this is a relief for Microsoft considering the legal trouble it is currently facing due to this deal. Other countries still have investigating this merger thoroughly are Japan, Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, and China. The UK Competition Authority (CMA) has recently entered the second investigation phase to examine the acquisition more closely to ensure that this deal does not cause any competition advantage to Microsoft if it gets approved. While the EU regulators are conducting a detailed survey of the impact of the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard and what would be the aftermath of this deal in the gaming industry, nevertheless, this acquisition will be remembered as the most expensive in gaming and most controversial one. However, when it looks like things are going in favor of Microsoft, another legal case or authority is waiting for it to become a hurdle in the deal. It will be interesting to see how the approval from Chile will help Microsoft strengthen its case. What are your thoughts on this news? Let us know in the comment section below. Well, look. Let me go back to the top of this. The first paragraph cracks me up. Listen to this. Says here, Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard is currently under global scrutiny due to the competition imbalance it might cause if this deal gets through. That is the viewpoint of Xbox competitors, organization including Google, Sony, and the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. Look, if you buy a studio, the video game industry don't stop. It keeps moving, it keeps growing, it keeps expanding. It's not going to cause an imbalance like people think it is, because when Sony has monopoly power on third party to tell them not to put games on Game Pass, did that cause an imbalance? No. Microsoft had to find ways to get games on Xbox so they can continue to move, right? While they were doing that, they created Game Pass. As far as Google is concerned, the reason to me Google is an internet search engine company, and they try to come into video games with the Stadia. The reason why the reason why the Stadia failed, is because Google missed a step. They missed a step. They never came in the door like how Microsoft did it. Microsoft was already publishing games in the PC world, but Microsoft came in with the Xbox through Sega. Google never came in the video game business with a console and try to build their way up. That's why they're having issues, right? And they also filed they even tried to block the Activision Blizzard deal. So Microsoft built Game Pass and beat everybody to the punch, and came out with a subscription service in video games, which is needed to keep the game industry moving. So Sony, on the other hand, now Sony had monopoly power over third party, right? And Sony now need to blame themselves for this. One, they have Killzone, SOCOM, and Resistance. And why did those games stop being produced? The Federal Trade Commission really need to ask Sony, what was the real reason why these games weren't as consistent like Call of Duty? Why did you stop funding these games? The other issue with Sony too now is that they had the exclusive rights to Call of Duty, but that runs out. They don't own Activision Blizzard. So when when Activision Blizzard was having their turmoil, Sony got so caught up in Call of Duty and the exclusive rights that they had for the limited time being, they weren't looking at the bigger picture. Activision Blizzard. Neither was Nintendo. And Microsoft saw that. While Game Pass is up and running, Microsoft saw that as an opportunity to get Activision Blizzard. And 75% of the public agrees to the deal. The employees at Activision Blizzard, they agreed to it. The shareholders now, 98%, they all agreed to the deal. So when Sony got caught up in Call of Duty, they didn't see the Activision Blizzard deal as an opportunity to get StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, and also own Call of Duty and have all those games on PlayStation. They didn't see that opportunity. And Microsoft saw that. And Microsoft beat everybody to the punch with it. That's what they did. They just put $68 billion on it. I would say 70. Call it a day. And that's why they're mad. Sony is mad that Microsoft beat them to the punch with this. Okay? Because right after the deal, Sony started buying studios. So Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard is not going to cause an imbalance in the game industry. The game industry will always continue to grow and always expand, because new studios are being formed every day. And when you got Chile, and then you have Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Serbia, they're all agreeing to this. Microsoft was right for doing this, Sony and Nintendo was going to sit there and let probably Activision Blizzard go through all kind of problems. They never stepped in. They didn't care. But Microsoft, they did. With their understanding of the game industry, they beat everybody to the punch and just came in and took them. So they were right for doing this. Chile was right for Chile didn't see any problem with the deal. Neither did Saudi Arabia, neither did Brazil, and neither did Serbia. So it's always Sony. Sony was trying to make Microsoft look bad. Sony was trying to make Microsoft look bad in this deal, but it backfired on them because it exposed them now and their control that they have over third party. It blocked it exposes them, and it shows how the power and the control that they have over a third party, and then how they block games from going to Game Pass. Yeah, so now Sony ran to the EU to try to get help, and now they got the FTC trying to side with them, but the FTC rushed to judgment on this too. And Microsoft was in the right because Sony and Nintendo did nothing. That's what this is going to all come down to. Sony and Nintendo being in the video game industry, being in the console business longer than Microsoft, they were the first one that was supposed to jump at this. None of them did nothing. So Microsoft said, it was like, really? Okay, we'll take care of it. That's what they did. So Microsoft was right for doing this, man, at the end of the day. And the video game industry, it don't stop just because you buy a studio. It don't. It really don't, man. Because you got new studios being formed every month, man. So, and plus you got people going to colleges and universities and private schools trying to get into the video game industry. So the game industry don't stop, man. And Sony, Google, the FTC, they're all mad because Microsoft beat them to the punch. And that's what this all comes down to. It was never about monopoly. Sony had monopoly power on third party. That's the real monopoly. Microsoft buying a studio is not even a monopoly. The game industry don't stop just because you liquidate a studio or you buy a studio. It don't. This keeps growing. So, to me, Sony, Google, the FTC, they're in the wrong on this, because they were trying to paint Microsoft as the bad guy, but then at the same time they were trying to cover up their wrongdoings, of what they were doing in the game industry. So while they were sitting there trying to bring Microsoft down, this deal now open up everything, exposes everything, exposes everybody's little secrets and everything. So yeah, the Activision, Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard is right. If the shareholders never agreed to this deal, then Microsoft could never win anywhere with it. But since the shareholders pitched in, that's one. Then you got the employees, that's number two. And then you got the public on this. They were right, man. And then you got third world countries now. Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Serbia, and Chile. They all supporting Microsoft on this. The game industry don't stop, man. Just because you buy a studio, it don't. It keeps growing. It keeps, expanding. It keeps new studios are just coming in on a daily basis. On a monthly basis, trying to get their feet in the door. So the game industry will always continue to grow. Now where does these studios, where do they go from here after the Activision Blizzard deal? Only they know the answer to that. So, but in the meantime, Microsoft was right. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinion on this. Leave your comments below. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Bored, dark side. Go. Peace.